Blackstone Audio presents Arsenic with Austen, A Crime with the Classics Mystery by Katherine Bolger Hyde. This book is read by Caroline Shaffer. To my parents, James and Charlotte, who did not live to see this day, but are no doubt rejoicing in it. Chapter 1. Change of scene might be of service, and perhaps a little relief from home may be as useful as anything. Mrs. Gardner to Elizabeth Bennet, Pride and Prejudice. A gentle late spring breeze ruffled the tender leaves of the maple and cherry trees on Reed College's front lawn, flirted with the skirts of the graduates' robes, and tugged at the edges of their mortarboards, then swirled up 3 stories to tease Emily's upswept hair as she stood at her open office window. Of late, this scene had become the favorite of her whole teaching year, because it meant the year was over. She shrugged gratefully out of her heavy doctoral robes and smoothed the lace-trimmed ivory linen dress she wore underneath. When had teaching literature ceased to be a joy she looked forward to each morning, and become, instead, a dreaded chore? When had her students and colleagues become a band of indifferent strangers instead of her own beloved community? "Some time after you left me," she said aloud to Philip, whose presence was one only she could perceive. "None of it means anything anymore." "You only get out of it what you put into it," his voice reprimanded her. He never seemed to say anything new these days, only things she'd heard him say 1,000 times before. Death must put a damper on one's creativity. "Maybe I need a sabbatical. Time to write that book, finally." She'd been planning it for years, the definitive work on Dostoevsky's conflicted relationship with his Orthodox faith. But Reed's emphasis on teaching over publication had allowed her to keep putting it off. Philip, for once, was silent. What would he say? "You can't run away from your problems, you have to face them," or "It's about time you stopped talking about that book and actually wrote it," or, most maddeningly, "You must do as you think best, my dear." Too late to ask for a sabbatical for next fall anyway. She could defer the decision a while, as she seemed to be deferring all action these days. She straightened the few remaining papers on her desk, filing some, placing others in her briefcase. Among them was a pile of mail she'd picked up from her campus.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?